An important type of plant tissue is the permanent tissues. The word permanent, what does it mean? Actually, earlier what we have seen, the meristems. The cells always divide. When the cells divide, and after division, when the tissue got a permanent shape, a permanent size, and perform a permanent function, that is the permanent tissue. That means permanent tissues are also derived from the meristems. When the cells of the meristems got a permanent shape, when the cells of the meristems got a permanent size, and when the cells of the meristems got a permanent job, that means it is the differentiation. This is known as the differentiation, and that means the meristems, the permanent derived from the meristems. So these are group of cells which are derived from the meristematic tissues and have lost their ability to divide. Whenever they have lost the ability to divide, that means now they have got a permanent shape, size, and a permanent job in the plant body, and that will form a permanent tissue. That is why the definition of the permanent tissue is very clear, and from this definition we may conclude the nature of the permanent tissue. Now, in the earlier meristematic tissue and their characteristic features, we have studied this one in our previous class, and in the previous class I have also told you and give you suggestion that when you will write a notes on tissue, then the first point in regard to the writing note is the introduction or the definition, and the second one is the structure, and if there will be any type, then that step, and if there will be no type, then the function. So here there are also type, that's why we have to discuss the type also. And first now look about the characteristic features of this type of tissue. Look here, the characteristic features. Actually I want you should compare with meristems. Then you will get some important points in regard to the characteristics of the permanent. Characteristics of the permanent. Why I have suggested that you may compare this with meristem. How you will compare? If in your memory the points which are related with the characteristic features of the meristems or the structure of the meristem, then may you easily compare it. Like when you are talking about the meristems, the first point may you write, the cells always divides. Here what you will write? The cells no more divide. There will be no division of the cell. There will be no cell division. And this tissue is composed of such type of cells. It is a cluster of such type of cells that cannot be divided. That is the when you will compare. Like you have seen in the case of the meristems, there are dense cytoplasm, there are prominent nucleus, there are absence of vacuoles, there are no intercellular spaces. Similarly, here one by one, if those points picked up by you, and may you try to write the points in those points and compare with the permanent, then you will get the a complete characteristic features of the permanent. How? May I write here? The cell does not divide. Number one, the cells are living or dead. Like number three, there are presence of intercellular spaces. There are presence or absence, sorry, there are presence or maybe absence of intercellular spaces. Now, number fourth, there are presence of vacuoles. May you also can write here in this way, it is the mistake here. There are presence or absence also, sorry, there are presence or absence of intercellular spaces. No, regarding vacuole, we are talking about regarding vacuoles. So, there are presence or absence of vacuoles. So, these are the number 4. Number 5 here I have written, the cells of permanent tissues are differentiated and have definite shape related to the function. It is already, I have told you that from the meristematic tissue it is derived, and how it differentiate when the tissue lost the ability of division and got a permanent shape, size, and perform a permanent job. That means it is the permanent tissue. The cells may have a thin or thick wall. In case of the living, the wall is thin. In case of the dead cell, the wall is thick, as because it consists of both living or the dead cells. The nucleus is absent in dead cells and present in the living cells, but the size is a smaller one. So, these are the some facts regarding the different characteristic features of the permanent tissue. In the classification of the plant, you have already seen what are the different types of permanent tissue. Once again, I am going to repeat here those type which are included in your syllabus, and you must know and describe those type, like permanent tissues and its type. Depending on the type of cells present, depending on the type of cells present, it is mainly of two types. It is mainly of two types. Number one, simple permanent tissue, and number two, complex permanent tissue. The simple permanent tissue divided on the basis of such type of cells which are similar in origin, and this similar in origin, shape, size, function, etc., and this complex permanent tissue are composed with the different types of cells.